How are we doing, people? It's Mark here from the Throwback store, and we are here with episode 12. Go on, how are you going to do that?
Episode 12?
Yeah, how are you going to do it?
Call me fucking Vorderman, mate. 3 times 4 equals 12.
Done.
Well, as I said to you before we started recording, I wanted to kind of highlight the jersey number, if possible, on the episode. Then I realised that the only fucker that I know wears 12 is Dwight Howard. And I don't have a Dwight Howard jersey.
Who wants a Dwight Howard jersey? Nobody. That too. Unless you buy it from the Throwback store. And there are a couple available at the moment, so...
Just about saved it.
Just about saved it. Yeah, I mean, obviously we ginger Shaq, as you can see, because he's already talking trash when we've not even into the first minute of the podcast.
Well, hang on a minute. You're the one that said, well, nobody wants a Dwight Howard jersey.
I do now, obviously. He's one of my brothers.
Yeah, but how long before he becomes Shaq Howard?
Well, we'll see. If he brings us a championship, who cares? He's not going to bring us a championship.
If Dikembe Mutombo didn't bring you one, Dwight Howard fucking isn't. No.
Right then. Well, it seems like you're doing okay. I was going to ask you how you was, but I don't need to now.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Coping.
So, what I wanted to talk about, which we probably missed off the last pod, which we probably should have mentioned, was the Cavaliers City Edition jersey, which hasn't had yet, and you wore the Cavs as well, which hasn't had much kind of respect, I'm going to say. But it's a very, very clever design.
It's very clever because, to quote Joakim Noah, Cleveland ain't got shit in it.
But it has. It's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So,
they've gone with that. The City jerseys haven't really pulled for the past couple of years. Like, they've been
dead,
weak at best. I like the idea behind it. I like the philosophy behind it. Move the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to any other city. Do that, like use band lettering to make the name of the city. People are going to love it. But it's Cleveland.
Yeah, there is that.
You know what I mean?
People that don't know. So the jersey says Cleveland along the front, and they've used letters from different bands. So the C is obviously the Cavs C, to stick with that. The L and the E is from the Sex Pistols. The V is from David Bowie. The E is from Metallica. The L is from Led Zeppelin. The A is from Nirvana. The N is from NWA. And the D is from Pink Floyd, The Wall. So, it's a really interesting design. And obviously, it's got its own little thing going on with it. But I just thought I'd highlight it because we kind of never really spoke about it on the last one.
I think it's a cool theory.
Yeah, the concept.
It's a cool idea. Like, the concept is there. I think it's been executed well. But like what it will look cool as bands that start playing in Cleveland now.
Yes.
Like, the Cavs need to send them a custom jersey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and that'll look great. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a good marketing thing.
Yeah.
And for a franchise that don't particularly have a player at the minute that you're dying to go out and buy their jersey, then it's
a reason for people to buy, especially people who are fans of the bands that are named on there. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe.
Like, if you're clever, you sell it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, exactly. You throw them in there, don't you?
Do you know what I mean? Because you think about it, like, we're British. Like, you go to America, you go to somewhere like, even for someone like yourself, who's a massive 76ers fan. Like, if you went to Boston, you'd probably buy something, not Celtics related, but maybe, like Red Sox or something like that. Like, Do you know what I mean? Like you'd buy that because it's that sort of like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. You might buy a Patriots thing, probably not to an Eagles fan, but that kind of thing. So like you kind of amalgamating the two. Like you go to Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, grab an NBA jersey. Like they're probably just got LeBron still playing. Because if you stuck 23 on that fucker, it'd sell like wild.
Exactly. You throw a LeBron on the back, and you're away. But talking of dead franchises, the Knicks City Edition jersey wasn't mentioned on the NBA app with all the other ones. 29, did you say? 29 were mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's because they didn't really make a big thing about G League teams having jerseys.
No, it's not funny. It isn't. It's like you're picking on like somebody who's already... It's like poking a dead body, isn't it? Like,
when it's like, stop, he's already dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, they just didn't mention it.
Yeah, and they've not made any big... Like obviously Boston with the banner jersey, that the press release with that was huge, and then the Miami one has been all over the timeline. Same with the Grizzlies and some others, the MLK,
Spurs.
the Spurs, all of them have been all over the timeline. But for some reason, the Knicks just haven't really made it. Probably for the best, because just stay quiet and just go about your business, and hopefully you don't end up the worst team in the league. But they've made some good. They've brought some people in, haven't they? They've brought.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've brought in one of your old boys, Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, great defensively.
They've drafted Obi Toppin.
Yeah,
who's arguably, it was not a player that was talked about much in high school, and then come out and was some high flying dunks in college and that.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is, like, the jersey hasn't been well received. Like, when it was leaked, it wasn't well received. It got a lot of hate. It's easy to hate the Knicks anyway. It's kind of like everyone's go-to. Like, so it's almost like they've gone, we're just not going to mention it, and then we won't get any shit. But then it's just been really obvious.
Yeah.
It's like someone sat in MSG is gone, sure, there was something I was meant to do today.
I know.
And he's put that email from like the NBA media office in spam folder.
It's gone into junk mail.
There's like I've just in my head, I've got like a group chat, like a WhatsApp group chat of NBA teams dropping their jerseys, and then it's just like the Knicks have got it on silent.
Yeah.
And then someone's rang them like, "Yo, you're not dropped your jersey because like now's your opportunity."
Yeah.
Because that Brooklyn Nets one is a bit odd.
Yeah.
And they've gone City jersey. Yeah.
We've got. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Oh.
Like Ty Lue the other day when he forgot Luke Kennard's name.
Yeah, he was like, look.
You've gone.
He's still there.
He's still brilliant. But yeah, that's a bit strange. The NBA doing that to the Knicks, like
it's not a great jersey. It's
not nice to be like out though, is it?
No, but like Knicks fans are passionate. They deserve a little bit of happiness. They deserved a nice jersey. They haven't got one.
And the season was dead before it started.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just meh. There's like, without making this like every episode of We Hate Knicks podcast, it's like, don't get me wrong, I've said before, like, I'd love the Knicks to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, MSG
you know what I mean?
in the playoffs is great. Like
and as a British fan, it must be great, because if you support basketball and you get the opportunity to go and see your team play at MSG, you basically guarantee the dub.
Exactly, yeah.
Unless you're a Bulls fan and we just cockwomble it.
It is what it is with the Bulls, though, isn't it? You know what you're getting. So the other big news, NBA news, was the John Wall, Russell Westbrook trade. Who is the winner and who is the loser in that one. It's a very strange trade because it feels like nobody's won, but it also feels like nobody's lost.
If you want to be a bit of an arsehole, you say the Rockets have lost because surely no matter who you put around James Harden, it doesn't work. And you've got a player who has played less than 50 games in the last 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
In John Wall. As a franchise, obviously, the Rockets are making changes. The Wizards, no team is going to argue of having Russell Westbrook.
Well, you've got...
Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, you'd take him on the Sixers.
No. Don't know. Don't know if I would. Don't know if I
but
would.
The thing is, like, I'm not talking about trading him for, like if they turn around to you,
yeah. If somebody give him me.
You've signed Seth Curry.
Yeah.
But we've got the opportunity to trade him for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
As much as you can go, well, hang on a minute. Seth can bang them threes.
Yeah.
You're going, it's Westbrook though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. The problem is, well, not necessarily the problem. It's like you've got Westbrook and Bradley Beal, who are 2 all-stars, really. Bradley Beal should have been in the all-star game last year. And normally you'd go 2 all-stars in the same team. That's going to work. But it probably won't. I just don't see that as a backcourt that can work. I just struggle. With Westbrook at times.
From a marketing perspective, like from a basketball perspective, I think nothing can be said until, like they get on the court. The Wizards, in my opinion, got one of the best steals of the draft. They got Denny Avendanger, who I wanted for the Bulls. He fell to like 9th or 10th. So that's perfect. Westbrook.
You've got David Burton.
David Bertans, yeah. And you picked up, you've got Russell Westbrook. Arguably, you've now got a point guard who plays.
Yeah, you've got John Wall.
You swapped a point guard who generally, like, don't get me wrong, clearly loved DC, been there his whole career. Like, nice approach. So that's the Wizards. Like, wicked. Like Joe Biden, when he becomes president, he'll be chilling with like Russell Westbrook. We'll see all them pictures. That'll be gravy, baby.
It's a vibe.
If you're the Rockets, the way that I looked at this, when we kind of breached this subject, was I was like, do you know who's the big winner of that trade? Adidas.
Yeah, John Wall and
James Harden.
Yeah, on the same.
Both Adidas athletes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always thought that teams and shoe companies love the idea of having 2 players who are the best players on the team
from the same shoe company
wearing the same shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like, simple as that. Like, you look at Nike, they must love it. LeBron and AD.
Yeah. Well, talking of LeBron and AD.
Good segue that was, wasn't it?
Oh, well done. Well done. I'll tell you what I'll talk about first. LeBron putting on his story that they're changing numbers this season. So
well, apparently, see, I can't find any concrete evidence of this.
Neither can I. This is what I was going to talk about because
they said it last year. It got turned down by the league, rightly so, because you basically turn around going, "You've just fucking shafted us."
Yeah, because of all these jerseys that we've just and they've done the same again this year. They're selling these LeBron jerseys with 23 on, and these.
So do you know what I read, and shout out to Off the Backboard UK, because someone posted it on there on Facebook, and they were like, "Well, that's a joke. All these people that bought jerseys," and I'm like, "Read what it says. The 2021 to 2022 season.
So it's next season. He didn't. He said next. He just said in his post. He just said next season. So I think people automatically assumed it was going to be this season, but maybe it is going to be next season. So at the end of the, because they've already started releasing the LeBron jerseys with the Jordan logo.
And I also think that there is a set amount of time you have to inform the league office if you're changing number.
So it must be like a full
So
league.
I think it's like 28 days.
Yeah.
So like the league's tipping off on the 22nd. Like it's going to be next season.
Yeah.
Like, and then there was a statement from AD where he'd done an interview and he was like, I've kind of grown into the number 3 now. It's what I want a championship in. Like,
I seen they started pre-season. Yes, they started pre-season training yesterday, and AD was wearing. I don't know whether it makes any difference. He was wearing 3 on his practice vest. So, but LeBron's always wore 6 in practice. So I suppose you can't really take much.
But I mean, like AD and LeBron, like they've obviously both signed big extensions, which to me, and I think most of the climate of NBA fans, that's Operation Anticapuno finished.
Yeah, well,
like Giannis isn't going there. Do you know what I mean? Like they can't afford him.
Well, he come out this week, didn't he, Giannis, and said that he would be happy for them to go to him if they want to. He said he didn't mind being the third best player on the team, as long as people come to him. He said Kobe told him you need to sacrifice if you want to win championships. So, but what I didn't like in that statement was, I'd be happy to be the second or third best player. Like, surely you should feel like you're the best player on that team. Like that. I've always Giannis is I've always had huge amount of respect for Giannis in regards to, like, he's never really put workout videos out. He's always trained alone. He's always been about being the best player in the league and all about improving. And then all of a sudden this off season, workout videos have started appearing online. Like, I'm going to put workout videos out. I'm going to show you what I've done in the off season. And then this stupid statement, like, I don't mind being the second. It smacks of desperation to me. It smacks of, I want to win a championship in order to secure my legacy, and I don't mind bringing because he mentioned KD, he mentioned LeBron, and he mentioned Anthony Davis. Obviously, KD being the kind of player for hire, so to speak, within the league. But yeah, I didn't like that. I thought it did smack of desperation a little bit from Giannis.
I mean, I think it's you've got like the 3 people who we regard as like the greatest of all time in different mentalities. You got MJ, who was very much a sort of fuck you kind of approach, like, but never said he wanted good teammates.
Yeah.
You've got Kobe, who, no matter who you were, would punish you if you didn't play well.
Yeah.
And then you've got LeBron, who has been quite public, and it has to have been, with quite enjoying a bit of help.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Miami with Bosh and Wade, and then in Cleveland with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, and then in LA with, AD and things like that. So maybe Giannis is kind of like it's literally a cliche, like because he's like, oh, Kobe said, like, you've got to sacrifice, and then he's all
wrong way, isn't it?
And then he's gone backwards on what Kobe's mentality would be, and gone, I'm happy to be the second or third best player. It's like, well, fucking hang on a minute. Like, Kobe could have broken legs, and he still claim he could shoot a better jump. Like, he'd try and take free throws from, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like we'll never know the mentality. It could be a marketing thing. Brand Giannis maybe needs a bit of a boost. Didn't perform in the playoffs. A lot of people don't think maybe he should have got the MVP.
Yeah.
He's no longer the European big name, like, and a lot of people are kind of more on the Luka train. So
which is strange, isn't it? Because Giannis is a 2-time MVP, but Luka, I think with Luka being so young, he appeals to the masses, doesn't he? His game is old. His game is like old man and slow, and he doesn't really jump high, and he the way he plays is very, very like Steve Nash mixed with Paul Pierce kind of vibes.
It's just kind of like disciplined and gets the approach.
Yeah.
And
I
but I
think
mean, to be fair, like, I mean, on the Hoop Genius pod, like Mo said, the Lakers were going to do it again.
Yeah.
You have to look at the timings of when the contract ends. It goes back to, again, a podcast where we mentioned Bronny being drafted. Like,
Yeah.
you know, LeBron's never going to get traded unless he asks to.
Well, exactly. It's as simple as that.
Like, because
money.
the only he's got to be that kind of, like, he's him, and I'd even say probably just MJ are the only two players
Kobe
where you could turn around and go, get rid of the roster.
Yeah.
Like players have arguments with head coaches, and it's like they're disciplined by the team.
Exactly.
Like, it's almost like if somebody argued, like, so say, like Vogel argued with LeBron, like Jeannie Buss would fine Vogel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, LeBron could do a no-chill gill and turn up with a gun.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, you must have drove him to it.
But it is LeBron, after all.
Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Like, the Lakers they're obviously, it was interesting to see the practice photos. You know, there's Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
And Kyle Kuzma's got rid of his M&M hair.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's, maybe they're stacking for it. Maybe they're going for it, and we'll see. But I think Westbrook also moving to the East.
Yeah.
He secured himself an all-star spot.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, for sure.
So, going off of that,
yeah.
Sneaker release. Mocha's. Is it the 19th?
Yes. 19th.
So I've got the Travis Scott, so I'm not really running after these. I'm happy with those.
Like, as I've explained before, the Travis Scotts make me feel a bit queasy because the swoosh is backwards.
So this is perfect then, isn't it?
So this is almost like my kind of like happy medium. I'll probably go for them, but you've answered your own question that they're a sneakers release, so probably got about as much chance of going and getting a bucket of unicorn shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the end of that. But they are nice. Do you know what I mean? I do like them.
But the AJ one just is, isn't it? The Jordan one's just a nice silhouette. Like,
yeah, very nice.
It's hard to get wrong.
It is. Well,
there's a release came out. So recording this pod, it'll either be today or the day after.
Is it the bell?
Just like mental.
Yeah, it's the the like tie dye and
like it's like an acid trip.
I'm sure. Is it J Belvin?
Yes. Like they're a bit wild.
Or J Balvin.
But I think in general, like the AJ one's like a solid shoe.
Yeah, that is a bit mad. That J Balvin Jordan. I will put a post up with that on because it's a bit your head falls off. And this week, because we had some technical difficulties with the soundtrack, as you'll see from the intro, some licensing issues.
Fuck the feds.
Yeah, the YouTube Nazis took down the music. So we're gonna have to. We've changed it, so that's why this podcast only come out when it has. This one will be on the Friday, and the one that was supposed to be dropped on the last Friday will be dropped on the Monday, which is actually today. So we had those issues, which wasn't great. To mess about with the soundtrack and stuff. So we've not got any questions, is what I was getting at.
But we do.
Okay.
I'm coming in clutch.
Oh, Ginger Shaq in the clutch. Come on.
So one of the ones that come through in my old DM skis.
Okay.
top five. So they were talking about, because we obviously discussed like players, top fives, things like that. So someone wanted to know, what's your top 5 players who've never won a championship? And by top 5, again, I reiterate, a starting 5 of players who've never won a chip.
Okay, so a starting 5. So
So this is like,
Iverson's your point guard.
yeah, like that's no questions about that.
And
But if I had to pick an alternative, so I'll go Steve Nash.
Okay, well, let's have a think. Steve Nash at point guard, Iverson at shooting guard.
Yeah, but equally at shooting guard, you could say James Harden.
No, because I was thinking T-Mac is what I was thinking. And you could put T-Mac in at small forward.
You could.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good players not won rings.
And then Barkley at power forward.
He's the lock, isn't he?
Yeah.
For that power forward.
Then you've got Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing's going to be your centre, isn't he? Surely.
He's got to be.
But then at power forward, then at point guard, oh my God, my head's gone. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. Did Gary Payton win one?
Yeah, I think he won one with the, yeah. Or the Lakers. One of the two.
Might have been the Lakers. Oh, you're going to...
There's just like a lot of players that like...
Yeah. But let's do it. Let's do it. Who you going point guard then? Are you going Steve Nash? Or are you going John Stockton? Or are you going AI? Steve Nash won 2 MVP awards.
Yeah, like you've got to go Steve Nash. Granted, he did technically get a championship ring for being part of the coaching staff on the Warriors, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, no, he didn't win one as a player.
And if you speak to Elliot from Hooping and Luton, he'll get one this year as a head coach for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I've got more chance of getting one this year from the Brooklyn Nets.
Shooting guards, it's got to be AI.
Yeah, just because he's AI. Just
isn't it? Like,
just because he's here next to me. Can't when he's here, I can't say stuff about him. I've got to. He's here,
just awkward otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Small forward. Now, small forward. As you've alluded to, that's a difficult one.
Because you could drop Barkley down to being a small forward, really.
Yeah.
Or you could just have T-Mac in there. And then if you put Barkley at power forward, what about Karl Malone?
See what I mean? Like, it's in your head, you're like, oh, that's yeah. Like, I can think of a 5. And then when you really delve into it,
really difficult.
You're like, oh, but
we're only talking about modern history, really. In my mind, I'm thinking of people who I can remember not winning one since I've been watching basketball since like the 90s. So then you go.
But at the end of the day, if anyone wants to drop in the comments and be like, well, actually, Doogie McVincington for the Kansas Kings, like, fuck off.
Who else? Yeah, Ewing. Ewing's going to be your centre.
Ironically, prior to this season,
Reggie Miller
just finished. Reggie Miller, yeah. But he's a creature of his own fortune because he stayed in fucking Cornville, didn't he?
He stayed in Boringville.
Do you know what I mean? But I mean, obviously, I'd probably say an argument would be he's just won a ring, but you could have talked about Dwight Howard.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was the one that I was thinking, but
did Dikembe Mutombo win one? Did he win it at the Hawks?
No, Dikembe Mutombo's never won a championship.
See what I'm saying? Like, it's depth, mate. Depth.
Oh, it's really ruined me day, this. Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins never won a chip. Don't know. You tell me. I don't know whether we've lost connection with Ginger Shaq or he's just give up. Have we lost connection? Has he just give up? Find out on the next episode of the Throwback Podcast. Wait, he's back. Was
it you or me?
It wasn't. Wait, it was you. I thought you sat there, and I thought, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Anyway, we finished anyway.
Yeah.
So
I just had enough and was like, fucking late.
Yeah. The time had elapsed, and he thought, I'm done here. I'm only paid for half an hour. I'm out of here. Yeah, so we've come to the end anyway, so he didn't really need to come back, but he did come back, so we appreciate it. And obviously this week, because nobody dropped a message, nobody gets a T-shirt. But if you drop anything on the video that's dropping tonight and the one on Friday, we'll do a double up and we'll package it up and we'll see who's got the best question on the next one, and somebody will get a T-shirt. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we will see you on the next one. Peace.